Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means. The other two are just along for the ride. Tyler, say what's up.
What up? What up?
We are joined by 2024 compensation A draftee Brody Brecht. How you doing, big dog?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I do have to get something off my chest with you real quick. I did throw my headphones across the room when your name was called as a pick by the Colorado Rockies. But I want you to know real quick, it had nothing to do with you. It's just that I grew up in Nebraska. I bleed red, go big red all the way through. And so that Iowa connection with you got me a little fired up there. So I just want
Hey, that's all good, man. That's a good rivalry. Both my uncles are big Nebraska fans, so I mean, we've been battling at it my whole life, so that's nothing new.
That's awesome. Did they grow up in Nebraska? Because you're an Iowa cat all the way through and through, right?
Yeah, no, they're from Iowa. I guess they love I guess they love winning seasons back in the 90s is what they love. So
I mean, that's about all we can hold our hat on. It's been a tough sledding as of late, especially against Iowa football. Did you ever score a touchdown against the Huskers?
I didn't. No. I didn't score a touchdown. It's one thing I never got to cross off.
Dang.
I know.
Are you gonna pull like a reverse Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, go, play some football at some point in your career and make that happen?
Hey, if the Broncos ask me to, absolutely. But I doubt that'll happen.
That would be sick, bro. Because that was always the running joke with Russell Wilson when he was in town. It was you were drafted by us, and maybe we'll call you to come play for the Rockies as well and try to make that all happen. But how much does your body love you for the fact that you stopped playing football and now just kind of stuck with baseball? But leading into how did you kind of decide just kind of go baseball all in?
Yeah, health was a big thing. I had a couple. My freshman year, I was out 8 weeks, and then my sophomore year, that spring and summer, I pulled both my hamstrings, so it was definitely a injury plagued career. I was able to get healthy for the season though, and played and started my sophomore year, but it was just kind of to the point where there's just still some aches and pains that I wanted to get rid of, and I wanted to focus on baseball and put myself in the best position for the draft that was this summer. And I thought to do that, to put myself in a good position to, just get used to being a baseball player year round was, to stop playing football was going to be the best for me. So, it was tough, definitely the toughest decision I've had to make. Football probably always been my favorite sport. But, that's just, how the cards, are dealt. It's just didn't have the, career I wanted. I was battling some injuries, but, we're here now, and, I'd make the decision 10 times over. So I'm really happy with my experience. Met a lot of great dudes, but, now we're here and I'm ready to go. So.
Did you know I guess really at what point in your high school, college career did you know it was going to be baseball only? And I mean, according to Perfect Game, you were the 30th best prep prospect coming out of the 21 class across the nation. Obviously, with football, there's so many guys. It's so hard to rank as high 4-star. Just at one point in your athletic career, did you know baseball was like, okay, I have a very legit future here?
Yeah. No, so I always wanted to play football. That was always what I was dead set on going to league for football. But I think, my junior year of baseball is when towards the end of that season, I was hitting 96, 98. And then I had a Diamondback scout, reach out to me that winter, going into my senior year. And then I was like, dang, that's crazy. That was, never crossed my mind as a possibility of, going out of high school. But, when that season started picking up, that spring started picking up, with more and more scouts, I was like, dang, this definitely is a, possibility. Probably can't give this up. And, even when I was getting recruited, I almost went to Iowa State just to play football, and they don't even have a baseball team. So, I think it kind of went back in there too. It was like, I just feel like I'd regret it. I can't give up on it. Football is what I love. Yeah. But, now we're sitting here like, hey, baseball might be what you can do. And so, that's kind of what went into it. But
that's crazy to think about. Like Iowa State playing only football and all of that coming into play. Was that a big part of your decision making on kind of deciding which school to kind of go to? Like, all right, I want to play football, but maybe have that backup plan or two.
Yeah, no, I honestly like was just trying to like I like took baseball out of it and I was like, all right, where do I want to go play football? And for me that was Iowa State, and I loved, Iowa was my favorite team growing up, so I always wanted to play there. But Iowa State, for receivers, I was like, I'm a big receiver. They've had success with Lazard, with Butler, with some of these guys. So I was like, maybe going there would be the best thing for me. But when I really like sat down and like talked to my family about it, it was like, look, one, you've been an Iowa fan your whole life. It's always been your dream to go there. And then number two, you can play baseball there as well. How cool of experience would that be? So those are kind of the two big things that went into it. And as much as I, would maybe like, maybe I would have went to Iowa State. I think deep down, I always knew I was going to go to Iowa. That's kind of where my heart was. So,
yeah. Well, now as you kind of put that, football chapter, close it up, put it on the shelf, just reflect back. What was the best football moment to this point in your life?
My freshman year, we beat Penn State at home. That was trying to think. I think we were ranked second and they were ranked, or we were ranked third and they were fifth or something like that. And it was a night game or afternoon game at Kinnick, and everybody thought we were going to lose and we beat them. And because we were down most of the game, and then we ran like a reverse, like naked throwback is kind of what we called it. And Spencer threw it to Nico for a touchdown, and that kind of all the momentum after that kind of went our way. And that was, definitely one of the coolest experiences. Everybody rushed the field. Like that was awesome. So that was definitely probably my favorite, but it's honestly not even like the games. It's more so just like, the locker room, just like, being out there with the guys in the summer and in the spring, like doing like the workouts and stuff with each other. Like that's really what you remember. So.
Yeah, we hear that a lot from the guys. And one more college question. How hard was it to be a two-sport athlete in college? Like I hear some of the schedules from these athletes and it's just insane for the one. Like I can only imagine like having two going.
Yeah, it's no joke. I'd always played multiple sports going, like I was always baseball, basketball, football, track. So I was always busy, but when you get to D1 Power 5 program like that's a different level. You got two programs that want you exclusively, for themselves, right? And so you're trying to communicate with, where you're supposed to be, in the fall, I'm on football scholarship. So like they just want me, fully football. And then in the spring, I'm trying to make a name for myself in football. So I'm doing the football workouts in the morning. We got baseball practice in the afternoon. So it was definitely a lot, like I said, the body definitely, took its toll, but for me, like I just love, like the grind is something that I love, and like, doing something that other people aren't doing is, I like doing that. Like I like, trying to defy the odds and, do something that's tough. Like I love doing that and proving people wrong. So, for me, I loved it. Yes. Was it tough? Yes. But for me, it was, a once in a lifetime opportunity that, I'll never forget. So.
And just kind of another day in the ballpark for you, so to speak. That's a nice little segue here, because on draft night, you just tweeted the word "good" when you were drafted by Noah.
Yeah.
And honestly, like it got me fired up. Like again, I was I was salty, right? But like I saw you send that, and just like, all right, let's go run through a wall right now. But, like, was that the saltiness coming out of that? Like, 'cause you were kind of projected going first roundish, so to speak, and then. You fell to the Rockies, which we're stoked about, and I'm excited to have you on in the organization doing your thing. Like, is that kind of what that was all about?
Yeah. Well, I actually tweeted it after the first round got over, and I tweeted out and I said good. And for me, like I don't know if you guys know who like Jocko Willenick is, how to pronounce his last name, but like his motto is always good. And no matter what happens, all right, you don't go first round, good. You go to Colorado, good. Like it's like for me, it's like. How using everything to my advantage to like fuel like just the fire in me. Like I've always played with a chip on my shoulder, but now like that chip's getting even bigger. And for me, like face the biggest part of my life. And so when I got drafted to Colorado, I was like, obviously, pitchers are always like, oh, you can't go to Colorado, you can't pitch or whatever. And the way I look at it was just like, God's put me here, to prove how great I can be, to prove how great that I know I am. And so, for me, that was, really big for me to like, all right, let's go prove everybody wrong. Like, we're going to Colorado. Good. Let's go show people what's up. So, I mean, I love it. I think it's a good organization, for me to be in, and, I'm ready to bring, everything I got to the org. So yeah, no matter what happens, I'm, good. So I'm getting fired up right now talking about it. So.
I am too. I got a little goosebumps going.
You mentioned, Aaron, like being ready to run through a wall, like having that explained. Now I'm fully ready. Like I could go do anything right now. So you gotta think in that perspective.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, I was definitely like, for me, draft night honestly wasn't like, I was pissed the whole night, and it really didn't. I wasn't really happy like until like Tuesday, and but. I mean, when I look back on it now, it's like everything happens for a reason. God's got a plan. Like, let's go do this thing. I've met, I've been hanging out with some great guys here that, I would consider, brothers for life. And, we've only been here for 3 weeks. So, I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to be here.
So on the topic of what you're coming into this Rockies organization, you're coming from Iowa. And from my experience, Iowa has been at the forefront of baseball analytics in the college scene.
Yeah.
So how's that experience shaped you, and do you think that that's going to be really beneficial as you start your pro career?
Yeah, I mean, we got like you said, I think we probably got the best analytical team in the country. We got almost more analysts than we do players on the team. Like it's crazy how big they're into it. And I think for me, like just knowing how all my stuff moves and plays, like I think that's a really big advantage. Using like being experienced or being exposed to TrackMan and Edgertronic and all this stuff that a lot of guys have never heard of or never used. I think is really good to like already kind of have that heads up, and just I don't know. I think it's really good. I think we. I've learned a lot, just pitch grips and movement and, spin rates and all this stuff. Like, I think I've really been, blessed to, know all these metrics that are used nowadays. And, I mean, the game every year is getting more and more analytical. So I think it's definitely, beneficial for, me to have been experience that. So.
Yeah. And I don't know, are you in Arizona right now?
I am. Yeah. I'm in Scottsdale. Yeah.
Have you gotten into, for us, it's like this legendary thing that no one really knows that much about. Have you gotten into the pitching lab yet?
I haven't, no. I don't think I will until I'm throwing bullpens, but I'm excited to see it. They said they just built it like a, $5 or $8 million like facility or lab. So I'm excited to see it. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm excited to get to work in it. So.
Okay. When you do get started, what is your arsenal? What do you change into your arsenal? Andrew's got a question here. Are you thinking about adding a splitter? Have you had that discussion? What are you kind of thinking?
Yeah. I mean, the splitter, I think, really came along the last 5-6 weeks of the season. I think that's when I was throwing it, about 13-14% of the time, so it was actually a legit third pitch for me. Yeah. I used to only throw it against lefties, if I had them 0-2, and like twice a game, like that was it. And so, for me being able to throw it against lefties and righties, and getting like, chase swing and miss on it was really big the last 6 weeks. So, I definitely think it's going to be, beneficial to have at the, next level, especially in Denver. Everybody's, stuff kind of, the altitude changes stuff. And, we talked about that in, our pitcher meeting. And so, I said altitude matters, but attitude matters more. So, that fired me up there too. So, I think my stuff can play there. I think it's just, getting more consistency with everything, and, definitely getting more, I think the slider's there. I just think the splitter, we just need to get more consistent with, more consistent movement on it and everything. But yeah, no, I'm excited.
And I got to put you on the spot here. Would you agree with the statement that your slider was the best breaking ball in the 2024 draft? Would you agree with
that? Yes.
I mean, I think it works for me.
That's
sure.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever seen anyone throw a breaking ball kind of in the same mold as you? Like, did you find inspiration for that, or is that just the natural way that you've been throwing that thing and it just works?
Yeah, that's just kind of been, that's just the natural way I've thrown it. I really didn't watch a lot of baseball growing up, and, it was always football. But I mean, yeah, I've just always thrown it like that. Like that's the one pitch that I really have not changed at all since like my sophomore year of high school. Like it's just kind of stuck with me, and it's worked. So we just been keeping it, and, you don't need to fix something if it's not broke. So we'll just keep pounding away at that. So.
Dude, I would love that. Like just holding on something so fantastic for that long. That sounds great. Like, do you ever look at your slider like watching film or like when you throw it and just go, damn, like that was insane.
No, I have like the mental performance coach I work with, he like makes like a mind movie is what he calls it. So I have like a 3.5 minute video of me just punching a bunch of dudes out with my slider. So it's nice.
That would be fun to watch. Getting those highlights going there. That would be sick. So a lot of people are in the chat here saying Spokane. We need you up in Spokane, red, white, and blue. Get some Indian gear. We saw that you were assigned to the ACL today on the rosters page. I guess what can you kind of share about where you are and what kind of the rest of the season kind of looks for you as far as being on the field goes?
Yeah. So like we were talking earlier, like I got my first bullpen on the 14th. Then I got a few more after that. So we're just trying to get ramped up, just trying to build up smartly. Will I be in Spokane? Maybe, maybe not. We're just trying to, be smart with everything, make sure I'm progressing, the right way and make sure my body's, 100%, ready, moving good, feeling good before I go anywhere and pitch in a game. But it's definitely a possibility. Is it going to be low A, high A? I don't know, but I'm ready to, just get back on the mound. I feel like this, what we've been doing is, for me, like I'm, go. So slowing things down has been, definitely an adjustment. But yeah, we got, Penn in, a week and a half. So I'm excited to, start throwing again, high intent, and then, see where we go from there. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, taking it easy. And we don't see the Rockies like pushing guys that as soon as they were drafted too often, especially with the arms. Because shoot, you guys throw 80, 90 innings a year, your body's not quite ready for it. Then you take a month off, and it's almost like you have to re-amp, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you just gotta. That's like they're just building up smartly. Like we're not trying to do anything crazy. Like I said, like we're not trying to be somewhere, where we're not at physically. So yeah, we're just trying to be smart, build up the best we can in a smart way, and then if we're feeling good and season's still going, then let's get after it. But right now we're just kind of taking things slow. So
yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's good. All right, we're at our 15-minute mark, so I won't take up too much of your time here. My favorite question to ask when we have these guys on is you get to be completely 100% selfish when you answer this question. But what is your favorite all-time baseball moment for you? Like the best, just the best moment on a ball field.
I think Northwestern this past year for me was big. That was like my career high in innings. I felt like I was, really like in the zone, like in control of myself. But then Nebraska this year, we kind of talked about that bad blood that I got with them. So, we played one and then we got rained out and then we had a doubleheader and they beat us the first two games. So, I was coming in ready to go and I kind of shoved that game and I was fired up. Like that was kind of the first time I'd let out some emotion on the mound in a while. So for me that was pretty cool to experience that and get those guys because they got us the first two games. So to be able to get them back was pretty cool. But I think those are pretty cool. Beating LSU last year was a lot of fun. The eventual national champ. So I say those three for sure.
Yeah, that's a good little list that you have there.
Yeah.
I know I just said that was my last question, but I have another one. Then we'll let you go. But do you you're a dog, you have that mentality, right? Like, do you feel yourself kind of amp up for those rivals, like those big moments, those big games like that?
I definitely. I try to always go in, for me, going in cool and calm, just being in control of myself is really big for me. Cause when I get too amped up, when I kind of get over, when I push the boiling point too far, that's when I kind of when I get out of control. So for me, I try to stay within myself, but at the same time, show that flair and energy, that I have. So, I definitely, I go into every game, with a little bit, like I said, that chip on the shoulder, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth. But then, those rivalry games, those big games, like Indiana State last year at the regional, even our fans, our mom and sister, we had some fans get kicked out, for, getting in fights with Indiana State fans, I love that environment, when it's you versus everybody, I feel like that's, where I thrive. So, I love competing. I love competing against anybody, just like that, just the competitor in me, no matter who we're playing, I just want to, rip your head off. But I mean, definitely those big, rivalry games. I mean, it definitely takes it to another level for sure.
Yeah, that's sick. I love that. Let's go run through a wall, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Let's do a thing. You're one of our guys now, so we'll be following you. We'll be talking you up as much as we possibly can. We'll be doing our thing on our end, and you're obviously going to do your thing on your end. You don't need us, but you got us. You got the whole Blake Street Banter community rooting for you, and just again appreciate you spending some 20 minutes with us here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, later, go kick some ass down the stretch, Brody. Let's go.
Yep, let's do it.
Good. Let's go. Thanks, man.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
See ya. All right, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to that wall. I'm just gonna run through it, and we'll just.
I'm gonna join you.
Yeah, deuces. It's just, oh my god. Like, if you're not listening to this and just stoked about what Brody Brecht might bring to the Rockies in the future and what he has going on right now, like, I need you to go find a different team to follow. Like, let's go, man.
And I gotta follow up on a question I asked him. I told him I was gonna put him on the spot. He has the best breaking ball that come out of the 24 draft. He won't. Yes. I respected the humility. Like, you have to be. I mean, in order to be a dog, you have to know you are capable, but also you have to like be humble. So. That was a good answer. That he didn't just say yes, because we all know he does. He doesn't need to say yes.
Absolutely, yeah. I appreciate Brody doing that thing and coming on. Bullpen coming up in a few days, a few weeks. So it's go time. And like somebody said in the chat, you got Dollander, you got Brecht, you got Palmquist, Solik right behind him. You got Hughes and Jackson on the IL. You got Vargas coming in. Like, there's gonna be a lot of competition, and like, do you see Dollander? He's got a little bit of dog in him. You got Brody, who is a dog. Like, there's gonna be some competition brewing, and I think that competition really breeds that success. And I'm stoked, man. Like, this is so freaking cool. Yeah, right, Sean. Exactly, so freaking cool. Like, let's go. I might be an Iowa baseball fan for a season, maybe like a series, but I'm not gonna go too crazy. But I'm stoked for Brody. Glad he popped on, and yeah, that's great. Tyler, we understand you got to go as well. You go have fun. You do your thing. And me and Mike are going to just hold it down.
Yeah. Peace out, guys. I'll see you next week.
Later, big dog.
Yeah.
Boom.
Have fun.
All right. Now, how do we do this? You do it. I'm done.
All
right. Cool. So we did that. So we could just end our session real quick, right? But no, we're still here. We got a new sponsorship. We are here to do all that and talk about our guys, and let's spend another 30 minutes just talking minor league prospects in the Rockies system here. We got to give a quick shout out to our new partner, Sports Spider. If you're tired of like searching multiple websites for sports news, sportspider.com has you covered. They collect the latest articles, videos, and podcasts from around the web, organize them by your favorite team. If you want to stay as updated as possible on our Colorado Rockies, you're probably a Denver Broncos fan, but go Lions. Just hit the link in the description. I'm going to put it in the description on the YouTube, on the podcast there, and check out sportspider.com. Sports Spider, SPORTSPYDERD.com. Thank you. New sponsorship, new connection there. So, Sports Spider there. Let's start with this. Condon to Spokane soon? Question mark? Maybe, probably not. Today was big moving day. Like, Mike was cooking in the background today. He woke up at about noon. He's like, "Oh shit, I saw some stuff. I gotta get going." So he got in the kitchen. He started cooking, but none of those graphics were Charlie Condon.
You have a really cool one too, Charlie Condon graphic too.
Yeah, shout out J Mac for that. When that pops, give huge props to J Mac on that. But yeah, Condon, who is it? Help me here. Condon, Brecht, Messina, and Jared Thomas.
Yeah.
We're all assigned to the ACL today. It's interesting because there is no ACL season. That season's over, right? So we are under the assumption that they're adding those guys to the ACL to add to the 165 player minor league roster for the Rockies. So these guys are now part of the minor league roster, which means they could potentially go to affiliated ball and play later this season. Condon is not there as of now. He has not been assigned. He will not be there tomorrow. I think that's a pretty safe assumption, but that doesn't mean that we won't see Condon in Spokane. But if you listened to our pod last week, it sounds like the front office, Forbes and Schmidt, have Condon playing in Spokane soon. So you will get your Condon in Spokane, but not now, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot go on. I don't want to be too greedy. We can wait on the Condon.
we'll break that news later. We'll share that news later. It's probably the better way to put it. We did not break any of the news today. But yeah, we had some big call-ups today. I think that's where we need to start. The first one, I did not have this on my bingo card, but the first drafted prospect is to go to affiliate ball is Justin Lower. Hopefully I said that correctly. He kind of broke the news on himself. It was a fun little tweet. He said it was a Cars meme said, "All right, we're going to California." So that late last night, I think Mike responded, and then it kind of confirmed with his response back. So, what round was Lower drafted?
13th
round.
14th, so mid-teens there.
Yeah, lefty out of LSU is going to Fresno, which means there was plenty of moves happening to match that. We saw our boy, one of our original banter sessions, you can always go back and listen to it, is Sam Weatherly. He's moving up to Spokane. What were his numbers when he was in Fresno? Do you have those?
They were pretty good. 41 innings pitched, 2.85 ERA, 51 strikeouts. So
yeah.
He was pretty dominant.
He's always had the stuff, but he's just never been healthy. So hopefully this healthy year is this things of signs to come. Like he could be a shutdown 6th, 7th, 8th inning guy. So big on Sam Weatherly there. Bryson Hammer is joining him. His 52 Ks in the 50 innings pitched there. And then the big one is Big Yank. Yankiel Fernandez is moving on up to AAA. Those are the ones that we can confirm for sure. That was reported by one of the agents out there that kind of does some news. I think it was the same guy that broke the Coco news, so it's pretty trustworthy. But Yankiel in AAA, I mean, he hasn't been lighting AA on fire, but he's been fairly consistent. He's starting to find his power stroke. I think he had a home run or two last week. You can confirm on that, but 283 average, 10 home runs, 46 RBIs with his time in Hartford. What do we kind of expect from him in Albuquerque, Mike? Do we get that call up in September?
I think the Rockies want to make that call up. I think they're looking at the timeline and, when we get the roster expansion, I think he's one of the guys that will get some time. He's still super young. The numbers aren't as great as you'd want a outfielder who doesn't really play that much defense, but he's still super young. The potential for the power is where I'm all like, that's where his value is. It's the potential. Potentially, he can hit 40+ home runs a year.
Dude, yeah, the raw power that comes in there. Like, if he becomes just a full-time DH, like, I think we're okay with that as a international free agent signing, all that with it. So, I'm very intrigued to see how that plays out.
And the Rockies, they clearly like the potential because they're pushing it very quickly. Very quickly.
What, he just turned 22, I think. Like,
yeah, he's very young.
I was just looking at the baseball reference page, like, oh yeah, he is young. He was 22 years ago. Like, so it's insane. Like, just giant in-game power. Again, he'll hit over the fence whenever you want. So like, here we go. So Isaac, thank you, Coach Funny Man. 119 WRC plus and AA is good. He's going to hit bat 300, 20 homers in the PCL at minimum. like I can see Monty just dominates the PCL. Like, I can see Yank just kind of doing the same thing once he gets his feet wet and settled in there. So that's huge news, which also means that one of Jordan Beck or Greg Jones might be getting the call up to major leagues to make room for Yankiel, which means some moves might be being made at the major league level. Don't ever like to see guys get cut or lose their jobs and all that, and whatever might happen going forward. But it doesn't take away that we can still be excited for these guys doing their thing and showing like, all right, let's get this shot, let's get this chance, because it's all about shots. We just need something to happen for one of these guys to just go prove them wrong. So we'll be watching tomorrow. I think it's gonna be another busy day. So Mike, get ready. Go ahead, get your rest though. You are working way too hard, big dog. Like, you are doing your thing behind the scenes. Like, huge shout out to you, man.
Like, I have 4 a.m. I put up like the walk minus strikeout rate numbers. Yeah. It's just like, why not?
So, yeah, you know what I want to do right now?
Pull out a spreadsheet.
It's pull out that spreadsheet. So lots of things happen. I think we missed one. It wasn't on the collection there, but Brian Castillo is also moving to AA. 32 innings pitched, 1.06 whip, 39 Ks, 18 walks in that time. like just insane numbers for that. So I'm kind of excited to see Castillo do his thing up in Spokane. Can't say I've watched Castillo pitch. Do you know anything about Castillo?
I haven't watched a lot, so I don't want to say much, but we'll drop a later tonight. Because I was actually just about to ask Isaac, give me a little rundown on what we're getting in AA here.
Or just go ahead and post that, Isaac, and we'll retweet it from the BSB account. So that just a lot of good stuff happening. Anything else promotion wise? I think we got most of it.
Did we cover the Mahoney Calais promotion last week, or was that?
I don't know.
Last week. But Mahoney up to High A, Calais is in Fresno. We'll cover those when we get to the affiliates.
A lot of debuts this week. A lot of debuts. Yeah, was it 3 debuts on one day last week for starting pitching?
Yeah, Palmquist, Sullivan, and Mahoney.
Which is, give me that lineup. Give me that in my starting 5 in 2026, and we're fucking rolling. Like, there's not slowing down there. The Rockies did sign Chase Shreve. I know Sharif. I said that wrong. Say it again.
Sharif, I think.
Sharif. Okay.
Sharif. Yeah.
Sharif. And I'm reading this right off your graphic on the Instagram. Go follow us on Blake Street Banter on the IG there. 34-year-old left-hand pitcher was signed to a minor league contract, assigned to AAA. Veteran who has been in the league since 2014, has the 12th lowest whip in any minor league baseball this season. I believe he bounced around from the Rangers and the Yankees this year.
He was dealt, I think, to Boston or something. The deal didn't go through. It was something weird like that. So he elected free agency, and then now he's with us.
Which is wild.
Shout out Isaac. Isaac made that graphic because Isaac knows about those guys, the minor leaguers.
Yes, yeah. If you want an old grizzled vet,
he's gonna play in purple. We'll talk about it when we get to the Albuquerque, but he's talented, and we need guys that especially that veteran presence we might need.
Yeah, you're looking to fill those innings because somebody's gonna get hurt. The young kids aren't quite ready, so you're looking at some veteran innings and getting you some bullpen help. Like that it's probably what they're planning on doing, especially the lefty part of that. So. Brenton Doyle, National League Player of the Month. We all called that. That was dope. You've already heard about that, so we're not going to go there. And I think that covers all the call-ups in this last 2 days, 3 days. So let's get into the affiliate ball. So let's get into the Albuquerque Isotopes. But before we do that, let's shout out Daily Controls LLC. You ready to transform your industrial process into seamless symphonies of efficiency and precision? Just fantastic words there, Mr. Daly. Look no further than Daily Controls LLC. No two businesses are alike, and neither are the control systems. Daily Controls prides themselves on producing solutions that align perfectly with your goals and equipment requirements. For more information, go to dailycontrolsllc.com or email info@dailycontrolsllc.com. And even if you don't need your button-to-button, go ahead and email him. Daily Controls spelled DALY, no I. So...
happy belated birthday, Mr. Daly.
Yeah, I got to hang out with him the other day. It was great. So he did not get any emails from any of you. Also, if you want to send him a belated email, I know pretty gross by you all. I need y'all to be better. But let's go to Albuquerque. Yesterday was gross. Yesterday I sat and watched, and the third inning, 11 runs, 11 batters. It was. I did something else after that, but it was bad. But overall, it wasn't a bad week. Hunter Stovall continues to be a magician with the glove. Even his bat might not be there. He's not getting the consistent playing time, but he still can pick it with the best of them. But it's really about Jordan Beck. It's on his rehab. I guess his rehab ended because he was done, and he was assigned to Albuquerque. How much did he do this week?
He had 13 strikeouts and 29 at-bats. So if there's a reason he's in Albuquerque, that's going to be the reason. He's striking out way too much. And it's been a problem his whole career. When he was in the MLB, not a big sample size, but he struck out 47% of the time.
Yeah.
Something he needs to work on. Still super young. Hopefully he's down here in Albuquerque fixing it.
Yeah, and if there is a guy to fix that, it's Pacheco. So be interesting to see that because, again, Yank got called up, so we're looking at what movement might be happening. So maybe Nolan Jones goes from Fresno all the way up to the majors, or I don't know. No idea.
We saw Boone go. They put Boone on the developmental list or something. List. So I wonder if that's the move for Yank.
Right. That would open up a spot for them. don't even know. Like, are there roster limits on the?
I think it's 30. It's like 33 to 36, or is, but it's not that big of a deal.
Right. Yeah. And that's, I think, where the development list comes into play. Yeah. Montero continues to rake. I think I saw he was hitting 400 this, like, since he's been down in AAA. Insane numbers. 10 for 22, 3 home runs, 8 walks. As you said, I don't know what really to say with that. It's just Monty is continuing to rake in AAA.
I want to see him, like, I wish we could, like, loan him to, like, the other AAA, the International League.
Yeah, go to the other side.
Do there, because I think that's what he needs to work on more. We know you can hit at altitude or in that weird park environment. Can you go out there and hit in the International League? Like, I think he'd be so much better off going there. He'd learn so much more.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks to see. Montero's raking, but I don't think he's necessarily getting better.
Right. And I'm not sure. I mean, looking at off-speed pitches, there's AAA data. Maybe that could be a Fangraph or it's a Baseball Savant thing. You can look at specific balls or pitch types and seeing what he might do. So maybe that's something I do before I go to bed. I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. to do that, but something to kind of look at what does Monty need to continue working on. And so, like, he obviously can hit, he can rake, but like what does that come into? And then I guess from the pitching side, Dugan Darnell continues to dominate in the relief role. So is Riley Pint, a lot of strikeouts. I think I said it as a joke. I think I'm happy neither one of them are getting called up, because the revolving door that is the arm barn means just like, all right, you're going to get called up and you're going to get DFA'd, and then somebody might pick you up like the Miami Marlins did. Austin Kitchen. It's like, that sucks and that's terrible. But like,
if the Marlins are picking up our pitchers, like, that's a sign we had something there. Yeah, the Marlins team doing it. Like, we had something with Kitchen, and everybody. I mean, the Rockies, the BSB group chat was big Kitchen guys. We were. I don't know about a pun I can make here, but we love it. Austin Kitchens was our guy. Ground ball.
We were not looking to upgrade our kitchen. We were not calling any contractors at all when we saw Austin come into play. So that was weird. They did our dude Gavin Hollowell dirty too that way too. So it's like they clearly have a plan for each one of these guys. And it makes me feel like, all right, Dugan Darnell is in that future plan, which is a huge, huge thing for Blake Street Banter. He is the guy that has allowed us to do any of this. So
yeah, with Dugan, you almost hope it's like spring training next year. He's there, and then everybody's like, "Oh, Dugan's looking great," and then he gets that roster spot immediately.
Yeah.
Then you know, like, okay, all year he's going to be on the Rockies.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. I keep hoping because the Rockies play in Detroit in like a month. And he's from the Detroit area. So it's like, oh, maybe the Rockies like storylines. That would be the storyline. The undrafted D3 third baseman. I don't know. It just could be something. I might be grasping here. But huge shout out to Dugan Darnell. So we'll see how that all plays out. Hartford Yard Goats. Zach Kokoska. Dude, man, crushes baseballs.
I mean, you can't really want anything else out of a hitter, right? He leads the MiLB Rockies in home runs with 17 or 16. 17 this week, I bet. He just hits the ball, and I feel like we don't talk about him enough because he's not a top 30 prospect. Fangraphs doesn't cover him. Baseball America didn't cover him. MLB Pipeline doesn't cover him. This guy just hits the ball, though. Like, no matter what people say about him or what the lack of what they say about him, I'm going to tell you right now, what I'll say is this guy's a hitter, and I think sky's the limit for a guy like him.
And it really is. And that's what we've been saying since the beginning. Like Tyler even said it, like all he does is hit. Wherever he goes, that's all he does is hit. The only thing I can think of are his split spin against right-handers and left-handers. But this blows my mind too. Maybe this is a conversation. He does not play against left-handed pitching. He has 230 at-bats against right-handed pitching. He has 34 at-bats against left-handed pitching. The fact that they're platooning a guy in the minor leagues is wild to me. That one doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't hate it if they're going to use him like that in the majors. Like, if there is a clear-cut plan that I don't know who would have the plan. I don't know if Bud Black would be here for that long, but the plan is, hey, let's start platooning guys. It's an effective way to get to win baseball games. So I don't mind it, but if they're going to just do it because of minor league team success, I'd be pretty upset.
Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of. What it is like. You have to see, like, if he's only hitting 233 batting average, but his OPS is 855 against right-hand pitchers. All 16 home runs, obviously, from the right-hand pitching. Has 19 doubles, has 55 RBIs against right-hand pitching. His left-hand pitching, 177, batting average, 206 slug. Like, it's clear, like, he struggles. But why are we platooning a dude, man, in Double-A this year? I don't know if it's as is exaggerated from the years before, and I just kind of missed it. Not sure, but feel like they're doing my man Coco a little dirty, and it makes me a little frustrated, a little upset. Don't know where it's gonna go from there. But
there you go. This is the expert, right? This is smart people talking. So Isaac kind of lets everybody know about the bat path, and it would be tricky against lefties, is what Isaac says. So good for development.
Okay, so explain how that's good for development.
I have Isaac on the show. Have me on the show.
I don't think that is good for development. Like that's the counter argument to good for development. If you want to grow him,
I think it would get him into bad habits. Like kind of like you see like rookie QBs, like you don't want to put him out there behind a bad line because they get bad habits. You don't want to put Kokoska against a lefty because he's going to start, garnering bad habits that will translate to the right-handedness.
Or maybe you help him work on a swing that does well against right-hand pitching, and then you practice that against right-hand pitching, and then you figure it out. Like if you're just going to create bad habits against lefties, I don't know that. I'm going to have to be sold a little bit on that.
It's a weird conversation to have because we don't know the ins and outs of the Rockies board.
You're right.
So it's just we're kind of like grasping for straws. We're both kind of just throwing up hypotheses.
Right, and that's what we're doing. We're banter. We're not smart. We're definitely not like experts. Like we know where we stand on this threshold here. But I don't know.
Yeah, that path you got me on. Like, well, I don't know what that. Like I couldn't tell you the difference between two dudes' bat paths.
Like I get that. It's just I don't.
Okay, wait, yeah, I get it too. I just don't get the like. Okay, what's Amador's bat path? Like, what do you like about Amador's bat? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, Amador's bat path is showing some power finally. Like, is Amador back? We called him out on our top 40 pod a few weeks ago, and he's like, no, these BSB guys are wrong. Look at me go. He has a few doubles, hit 2 home runs this week, 900 OPS. I wasn't able to watch as many Goats games this week, but hopefully you might have checked in on him. Does he look the part? Like, does it kind of feel like he's getting it together?
The power's back. He missed, I think, 2 games this week. I think he was out, not injured or anything, or maybe it was 1 game. But the power is somewhat back, and he has a shocking amount of home runs for like a guy that like doesn't really have a lot of power in quotations. Like he used to develop it,
right?
Like he's only like one off of like the top 5 in the system in terms of minor league home runs. So it's not like he's like far down there.
Which is
I still worry. I'm not going to make a large opinionated take on 1 week because that's just how you get into bad takes. And
right.
It's usually what I do. So I'm going to stop doing that. But I think Amador, the power is great. And I think this week was a lot closer to what we would expect from Amador than weeks prior.
Yeah, I would agree.
Still not hitting like for average as I would like, but better than I think what was it like May or March? He was just like 0 for 30 for at some point. It was something really bad like that. We're out of that. We're out of that dry spell.
Yeah, that's done. That is definitely gone. And he's still walking a lot. He still has 14 walks, but his strikeout numbers were higher in July than they were. Like 14 walks to 23 strikeouts, which isn't very Amador like, but we're also seeing the power and the hit tool coming around. So maybe the aggressiveness and getting prepared for that kind of stuff. It's like, all right, you don't have to walk. You can be aggressive early, foul some stuff off. And so maybe that's something that he's working on there. And then, I mean, Chase Dolan had 2 starts. His second start of the week was fantastic.
Yeah.
6 Ks, I think, in his 5 innings. So that's really good. Ryan Ritter and Zach Veen are still out. Ryan Ritter got slid into ankle.
I think Ritter's is going to be a little bit of a long injury because he wasn't put retroactively. Like he was put on the IL like 3 days after it happened, but it wasn't retroactively. So I'm assuming they're in no rush to bring him back.
Right. Which, I mean, at this point, maybe not. And then Zach Veen, we aren't quite sure what happened. He was put on the 27th, I think. So he's about a weekend to his IL stint. Not sure what. We got some boots on the ground. That's going to be in a game in Richmond this weekend. So this week. So we'll see if we see Zach Veen on the sideline there. And then Zach Agnos, lights out, which is something you have heard before. 12 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 14 strikeouts. I really just want the strikeout number to keep going up. Like, give me 1.5 plus or whatever, however that you say that. But like 14 strikeouts in 12 innings is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's like 40% or
like
38. So I mean, that's still very good, especially Double A. He made that. That's a big jump high to Double A. And his ERA in high A was like 0.73. His ERA in Double A is 0.75. So
it's just. All he does is pitch, even though that's not what he did 2 years ago. So that's awesome to see, just adding to kind of the plethora of arms that's happening in the arm barn. Like we saw Jane Hill and Seth Halverson get the call up. So Zach Agnos, you're up. Let's get some saves up in Hartford there. The Spokane Indians and Fresno Grizzlies. Fun stuff down in the A ball there. But before we get to that, this is brought to you by Grant Hankins. Yeah, just a Twitter account. G Hankins 25. Please follow our card loving Tovar Collecting sponsor Grant Hankins. He has donated most of the cards for our giveaways. And dude, can I tell you that I got the box that he wants us to donate? We have a graded Tolia special card. We got a Tovar graded in there. There's a plethora of Tolia cards. There's a whole bunch of first Bowmans of the prospects. There are some sick cards in this. Like my kid was looking at it with me. He's like, "Yo, can I have that one? No, I want that one. This one's mine." It's like, no, I got to get rid of these. But there are some sick giveaways that are coming up. So keep an eye on that. So make sure you follow our man G Hankins 25, GHANKINS 2 on the Twitter, and give him a shout out. Say Blanket Street Banter sent you. Next up is that Spokane Indians, which. A lot of stuff happening in Spokane. It's a wild ride. You got Glenn Allen Hill Jr. being a dog. You got Kyle Karros just setting the world on fire like he's his own little son up there. Cole Carrick cooling down a little bit. But Mahoney made his first Spokane appearance. Victor Juarez is back, right? Brian Betancourt has these crazy hot streaks. I'll let you go. You pick one. I'll pick one, and then we'll go down to Fresno.
I'm gonna go Victor Juarez, and it's kind of like I have like this running joke with myself, and I'm like the leader of the Victor Juarez fan club. So it's been a rough couple months, or probably 2 months for the Victor Juarez fan club. But this week it wasn't like an exceptional performance, but it was 3 earned runs in 6 innings. He looked great, a lot of strikeouts. Much more of what we want to see from him. Past month, it was July. Really, it was awful for him, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's just longevity is really getting to him, but. Glad to see that he's going back on track.
Yes, it is. Like he was always one of my favorite pitchers to watch. So having Victor Juarez there, he's only 21.
Yeah,
or he just turned 21, right? I think he just had his 21st birthday. So it's only upside from there. The guy I want to talk about is Kyle Karros, and then I also want to talk about Glenn Allen Hill. But I think I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the new guy on the block, Eugenio Herrera. Need to listen to a broadcast so I figure out how to say his name. Made his debut, 5 innings pitched, 6 Ks, 3 earned runs, only 20 years old, high A ball. He was in the trade for Mears. I think it was Nick Mears. Yeah. So we didn't do a lot, but I think we got a lot in a guy like Herrera. So big strikeout guy. Just it's good to see these guys come into a whole new situation, a whole new system, and just come out and shove. Like, all right, you need 5.
Using him as a starter, which is a little, it's cool.
Yeah, and right. And if you're going to trade a top bullpen arm for somebody, you want that to be a starting reliever because the only place you can go down is to relief, which is just fine. Like if we can turn in that into a good relief arm, everybody's happy. Nobody's going to be upset, especially the higher up. So Eugenio Herrera, you shout out. He might get 2 starts this week. Does he start tomorrow?
If he starts tomorrow, then yeah, you're right.
I don't know if I can't remember when he shoved last week.
No, he doesn't. No, you're right. No, I don't think he'll start. I think it was like midweek start last time.
It might have been a Thursday start. So just watch him. It'd be great. Spokane's some of these broadcasts, man. The Fighting Phils was so hard to watch.
Yeah. The Fighting Phils one had like their PA announcer. I don't know if it was, but the voice was like in like a PA announcer tone.
It was like all muffled and stuff, and then the cameras were you see the patter go like this, and then it would pan out. And I was like, okay, like I love minor league baseball, but
it's 50-50. If you guys watch minor league baseball, you know what we're talking about. The home broadcast, we sort of know what to expect.
Yes.
When they're on the away, we don't know. Like it's just sometimes they don't even show hits. They just stare in the batter's box.
It's a trip every single time. Yeah, Yuhanahar is the 9th ranked Rockies prospect according to Fangraphs. We did not put him on our top 40 because we did our top 40 before the trade deadline. So don't be mad at us for not putting him on there. All right, let's go down to Fresno. Hot California. What a hit. 107?
107. I can't imagine playing baseball in 107.
It's a dry heat, though.
It's true, but still 107.
It was, I don't know. That is the worst part about baseball. It's just the heat, and you have to play in the pants.
Why do they make managers dress up in uniform? I've never understood that about baseball. Like any other sport, they're just wearing usually professional clothes, like a suit or something. Like soccer, you can wear like a vest. Why do you have to wear like a uniform as a coach? It's so odd. Like, and you get a number. It's the weirdest thing about baseball is that. It's very weird.
I mean,
imagine Andy Reid dressing up in pads, helmet, and everything. Like,
I mean, exactly. I think that's why. I think that's my argument. Like, you're not going to be a football player. You're not going on the field. You're not like you don't need pads to be a coach. You don't need pads to be a hockey coach. The soccer one would be the only argument you can make, but like you don't want your coach in shorts, so maybe that's why. I don't know. We see a lot of
they're wearing long pants regardless. Yeah, you're right. So
and then like Bud Black, he wears his hoodie. He has a pullover. He's never like uniform jersey like they used to. Like they used to be full decked out. Yeah, that's always a fun conversation. All right, Fresno Grizzlies. We probably should have started with that, but huge shout out to Isaiah Cope. Mr. Spin Zone himself. Ooh, I like that. That's the nickname, Mr. Spin Zone.
It's a shirt.
That's a shirt. Somebody draw that up for us, please. Pitcher of the week, or California pitcher of the week. 5 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, 0 hits, 0 runs. The great thing about that, he had 1 walk, which was in the first inning, and then he retired the next 15 guys. He only faced 1 more than the minimum in that start. And I know he was your BSB player of the week for Fresno. Were you able to tune in on that? Were you able to watch any of that stuff that I
wasn't able to watch? I wish. No, that one. I don't know what I was doing, but I wasn't able to watch him. But it's a great bounce back performance. Last 3 starts, he's been not great. And I even questioned the last pod if they would push him. Like, hey, are we putting him in the bullpen now? He's not really doing much. Hey, don't put him in the bullpen. Start him. He looks fine.
And so maybe this is it. Like this is the second half, the second act for Isaiah there. And then Nolan Jones. Have you ever heard of this guy before?
New guy,
made his first appearance in Fresno. I think he's a top prospect. I don't know, but Nolan Jones is rehabbing in Fresno. He went off this week. Fun little interview with Stephen Rice that was on there. I haven't been able to listen to that, so thank you, Stephen, for sending that over. We'll try to get some nuggets out of that. But Nolan Jones rehab. There was a good little argument or conversation, banter back and forth on the Twitter with somebody. But like, why is Nolan Jones rehabbing in Fresno? Like, why? He's a major league talent. He's almost an all-star caliber. But like, why are we sending him down to Fresno to rehab?
Good question. Well, you want to work them up, and there's no more ACL. So normally these guys would just play in the ACL, and ACL rehab games go just unnoticed. No one really cares about because you can't broadcast ACL. So we're not watching it. This is just the lowest level that is available. There's that. And he only played 4 games. I think he's probably going to go to Hartford next or Albuquerque. So watch out for that. But he'll be back pretty soon. Give him a couple weeks. But I don't really think it's much of a weird thing as people make. It's just there's no more ACL available. So.
Right. That is a good point. I did not think about that part. So he's just getting his feet wet. So and he looks good. Like he was running the outfield. He was hitting dongs. So it's great. Juan Castillo debuted 1 game, 4 at bats, 2 doubles. So his OPS is like 1 million. So
That's fun. A defensive catcher out there breaking like that. So love to see it.
Let's hope that stays on there. I thought this was interesting. Jason Hitchman and Braylon Wimmer almost had identical stat lines.
They're the same player. I was tweeting like 2 a.m. and Stephen Rice had to correct me. I did a Braylon Wimmer tweet and a Jason Hitchman tweet, not James Hitchman, which I've been calling him forever. And I just flipped their names on the 2 tweets. They are identical. I feel both break. They both hit the ball. They're both fun to watch at the plate. Professional hitters. So
it's funny. Like I like that. But Jason Hitchman's batting average this week 333. Wimmer's 348. Their OPS, Jason Hitchman's OPS 1036. Braylon Wimmer 1032. It's just insane numbers. Like one stealing, one stolen base, one caught stealing. It's just I thought that stat line, that box number was kind of funny. But the big news, Robert Kalas, he is here, and he's here to make a name for himself. Like it's talked a little bit about with Stephen Rice. It's like he's coming in. I think he's trying to prove himself, which as an 18-year-old, I would want to as well. Like I'm the big dog on campus. I'm the big prospect. I want to make sure all that's true, and I'm going to come out and do the best I can. He got thrown out on a double at third, which was wrong because he looked safe to me. He got under the tag. It was a hell of a throw, though. It looks like a dot. Like didn't have to move the glove at all. But
it looked like it was an automatic triple, and then the throw came in, and it was like, oh. He got a triple later in the game too. So
did he?
Bench.
Okay, so that's good. When you saw him run, was it weird for you? Like,
I was gonna say something in the group chat about it. Him running was just weird. I don't know why it was weird. Like, was it long strides or something?
Maybe he's just not ready. His athletic ability isn't ready for the body.
Like, I don't know if you know James Wood. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen him run. It almost felt like the same way. Like, I don't know, like how tall they are in comparison. Like James Wood's a really tall guy, so like long strides, it just looks weird.
Yeah, just a big.
Especially when you're watching like Andy Perez, or like someone like Braden Ward running. It's just like 2 different types of people.
Yeah,
it was very weird, especially like that turnaround second was. I don't know how to explain.
That's what I saw too. Yeah, it was like, is it? Yeah,
I'm glad it wasn't just me. Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna assume it's just.
It wasn't slow though. It wasn't like a problem. It was more or less just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's something just to watch, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't think we're worried about it, but I think it was interesting. But I got this little nugget from Stephen Rice. Thank you, Stephen, for sharing. But Kalas has the attitude and smile of Amador, fun-go-lucky, but he is also strong and looks like a baby right-handed Yankeel. All right, fire me up. Let's go.
And he's playing center. I didn't think they would do this, especially with Hobson there. Hobson's like a true center fielder. They played Kalas at center, I think, every game, if not all but one game. It was weird. There was a weird play yesterday where, like, obviously Hobson has more range out there. There's one play where, like, Hobson, I think, kind of, like, showed it off. Like, kind of, like, cut Kalas in center. Like, went kind of, like, in front of him to get the ball. Thought that was funny, but it's a weird dynamic right now with him in center and Hobson in right.
Yeah, so he played 3 games, 2 in center, 1 in right. And he had an error that first game in right field. So maybe they're like, all right, right field ain't for you, so go to play center. Yeah. And then something that we're a little curious about, Jace Kaminska only pitched 2.1 innings pitched, 0 hits, 0 walks, 3 strikeouts. That's interesting. Again, wasn't able to watch, but I saw the stat line, and that's one of our guys. What can you share about Jace?
Yeah, so when it happened, it was really weird. He got an out, and then it seems like he didn't say anything. It was the trainer that came out. And then they took him out, and then Rice said on the broadcast, this is the second start in a row that Kaminska has been taken out by the trainer. So I don't know where we go from there. I hope it's nothing big. I hope at least they just take their time with this and not turn it into something big. I hope he takes a week off, just make sure everything's good there.
Right. Yeah, because he went 4 innings the game before. He was shoving too. 6 strikeouts. Only had 60 pitches under his belt, and he was taken out the start before. He had 31 pitches this time. So that's interesting. It'll be something we're watching going forward. We're big Jace Kaminska fans, and dude man's having a fantastic debut season. So hopefully all that's good. All right. I think that might cover it. We just talked to Brody Brecht. We covered this. We had Brad Hopp on last week. He's on the Banter Session. Crossing our fingers for a big one next week. Like, So today was big. I think
next week is another huge one.
Like hopefully that comes to fruition. All of our schedules all work out for that. So just good stuff, man. I love this.
We're 3 away from 2,400 followers, by the way. So there's that.
There is that, which is just insane. And everything's growing. It's just we want build a community. We are here for good times, good vibes. So keep sharing it. Again, please send it to your mom. She will love us. I promise. But yeah. Perfect hour. All right, end it. Get ready to hit the button. Go, Brody Brecht. Woo! Thank you for watching and listening. Please check out our link tree for more content.